It is one of those videos that I did not think I was going to be making anytime soon. But if you guys read the title of this video, Omega Strikers, the air hockey foot brawler type game, is actually going to be getting discontinued. We have one more update that they're going to be releasing towards the end of 2023, and going into 2024 they are going to be discontinuing support for the game. The only thing that's actually going to be available is like micro patches, like balance patches for the game, and the servers will still be up. Apart from that, the game will no longer be available, and they will not be making more content for the game and that type of thing. Now, if you guys not know, Omega Strikers has been actually out of beta. It was in beta for I think like over a year, and it was actually released out of beta and actually onto console. I don't know, I'm a Switch player. It's also on Android and a bunch, I think, phones and a few other consoles, and also on PC on Steam. And it was actually released out of beta officially less than a year ago in April of I think it was actually this year, actually, of 2023. It's actually been out less than a year. It's been about 8 months the game has actually been out, and the game is already being discontinued. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I didn't really want to go full send on this game. I'm going to kind of talk about like my thoughts on the game and like the entirety of the game up until this point. But we also have a blog, which I'll throw you guys on screen right now. This is actually an official blog. It says updated 12 hours ago, but this was actually, at least when I'm recording this was actually released about 3 or 4 hours ago. You guys will probably be seeing this tomorrow, at least when I'm recording this. But the game's being discontinued. They put out a whole blog sheet. There's also a video here, like of the Odessey interactive devs, like two of the founding devs for this company that actually created Omega Strikers. They released like a 10-minute video on their Twitter account, Omega Strikers, and on this blog. So if you guys want to check it out, go to their Twitter account, or even on their, I think their YouTube channel might have it as well. Talking about the game, where the game kind of developed, and like the future for the game and what they're going to be doing. Very interesting video. I'm not going to play it here because I don't have 10 minutes to sit here and watch the video, and I already saw it myself, so you guys can watch it yourself. But I'll be talking about this blog. There's actually a web page here that has a bunch of questions and kind of just says the same thing. So we're going to run through this. I'm going to talk about this, and then I'm kind of talk about my opinions on the game and kind of what they did right with the game and kind of what they did wrong with the game, and the reasons why I think this may actually be a good thing or a bad thing going forward. And kind of at least the state of like the future, at least of me making Omega Strikers content over here on the channel as well, which I know a lot of people are going to be wondering about. So this is actually probably going to be my last Omega Strikers video. Just before I get into this, I do not think I'm going to be covering the game anymore, because there's just no reason for me to after this, hearing this news. So this is probably going to be like my last Omega Strikers type video, kind of just talking about the game and going through stuff. So those of you guys that are here for Omega Striker stuff, I do apologize, but you guys can blame Odessey Interactive for discontinuing the game. If you want somebody to blame, go blame them. TLDR, if you've not watched this video, by the end of the year, the Odessey team is pivoting to work on new games set in the Omega Strikers universe. What those games are, we have no idea. They're still working on them. Servers will stay on and will continue releasing balance updates for the foreseeable future. We're also planning to polish up the custom games tool and ship some other quality of life updates before the end of the year. But after this year, there won't be any more new skins, maps, strikers, awakenings, or striker passes. Any purchases you've made in Omega Strikers will carry over as a premium currency granted to you in our next game, which I'm not quite sure how that actually works. Is that like the skins you actually bought as well? Is like the money you spent on the skin, is that going to be like premium currency in like a new game, or is it just like the currency you haven't spent yet as well? I'm not 100% sure that'll actually work. I don't really know how it works yet. I don't really care, because I never, at least myself, never bought anything in game with real money, which I'm thankful I never did. I was really close to buying one or two things, but I'm glad I never did, because I just never had the money at the time, and I just never got around to it. Then I ended up spending the money on other stuff. So wait, what's happening? Is the game shutting down? Nope, we intend on keeping Omega Strikers up and running for the foreseeable future. So pretty much what this is the game is shutting down, at least update-wise, but the game is still going to just be on servers. The servers will still be up, but the game will no longer be getting like actual updates. It's just going to be like a bunch of mini balance updates, at least that's what they're saying here. But the game's pretty much dead. They're pretty much what it is they're discontinuing the game, and they're taking all their marbles and they're taking their ball and they're moving to the next big thing. That's kind of what they're doing. Regular balance. However, at the end of this year, we will wind down the current updates for the game and shift our focus to a development of a new game in the Omega Strikers IP. This means there will be no planned releases of Strikers passes or majority of content after the end of 2023. Despite our best efforts, this is kind of the reasons why they are not actually continuing the game. Like I said, if you guys want to watch this video, it's about a 10-minute video of the two lead devs for Odessey Interactive, which is the creators of this game. You guys can watch the video here as well on this website. It's on the Odessey Interactive website in one of their articles if you guys want to find this as well, the page I'm reading to you guys. Despite our best efforts, we haven't been able to grow Omega Strikers. Although the game has an incredible core community, most players generally stop playing after a few weeks of going hard in the game, which is a huge problem with this game. That is one of the main problems I've been actually talking about every single time I've done like an update video or like talking about the game. The main thing I complain about is there's just no playability to the game, and that they also admitted it right here themselves, which I was 100% right about. I caught a lot of shit for that, so a lot of the people that actually said that I'm doing nothing but bitching, complaining for no reason, and just to shut up and play the game. Right here you have it from the devs saying the same thing. So I want to see my flowers and give me the credit where credit's due. I better see a bunch of apologies to the people that hopefully they're still watching my videos in the comments down below that said that to me. I really do, because I was correct on that one. We have big dreams for the future of Omega Strikers universe, and to achieve our ambitions, we believe we must focus on efforts on a new title set in the Omega Strikers world. And to hear about more of this, check out the video, whatever. Will I be able to continue playing after development ends? Yes, all platforms will remain active, and in the future we may revisit this question if there are technical changes to running the game on a given platform. But you'll still be able to play it and still be able to download the game on any platform that it's currently on. It's just that the game will no longer be getting any updates apart from small balance changes and quality of life changes, maybe. That type of thing. The game's pretty much going to be on autopilot. That's pretty much what it's going to be. It's kind of like I think Titanfall. I think Titanfall's. I don't know if that game still gets updates. I'm not sure. Or like Team Fortress. I don't know if that. I'm just going based off of what I hear, but I don't actually play those games. I've never heard them, but I think those are games that just have like servers that are currently online, but they haven't got like an actual update in like years. So it's kind of the same thing. What happens between now and the end of the year? We will be releasing a few patches that include themed events, a new map, and an additional striker. We are also focusing on the quality of life bugs and custom match improvements. So there's probably going to be one more big patch before the end of the year, probably sometime in like early to mid-December if I were to guess. That's going to probably have an event and a new map. And the additional striker is probably going to be for the team of Demon Drive, because we do not have a third member to like the in-game teams or whatever, like lore-wise. Every other team in-game lore-wise has 3 members on it. The only one that does not have a third member are the team of Vice and Octavia. They are due for a third member still, at least like in the in-game lore. So they're going to be probably getting the last striker of the game's existence. So that's kind of what it's going to be. We don't know anything about the striker yet, but that's what I'm assuming. I don't know what else it would really be. I don't think they're going to add like a random striker to the game when it just doesn't make sense lore-wise. Will matchmaking be disabled? Matchmaking will continue to be supported. We do expect longer wait times as fewer players use this option to start a game. So we'll support custom lobbies. So pretty much what they're saying here is, yeah, you'll still be able to find online matches, but the game's going to be fucking dead, so you'll probably be sitting in queue for extended amounts of time. So at that point, I don't know why you'd even bother playing, which is really unfortunate. At least for me, that's what I get out from this. Or just make your own custom games, what they're kind of telling you here. Will micro patches be released after development ends? Yes, our plan is to continue releasing balance updates and map/awakening rotations as long as there's significant player interest. So that's not even guaranteed. They're only going to be releasing balance and like rotations of the maps and awakenings as long as there's significant player interest. So if the game really drops off, especially after it no longer gets any new updates, then they might not even do that. because it might not cause them way too much effort and take away from what their other stuff that they're probably doing. So I wouldn't even say that's guaranteed. I say that game's pretty much dead. I think the only thing to take out of this is that the servers will probably be up. That's the only thing that's guaranteed, at least from this. The servers will be up, but the game will no longer be getting anything, more than likely, after 2023 ends. Will the store be closing down? The store will remain active, and you will be able to continue being able to make Odessey point purchases to lock items. Show our appreciation for supporting Odessey as we develop the new game. Any money spent on Omega Strikers will be granted back to you as a premium currency you'll be able to use in our next game. Again, I don't know how that actually works. If that's like the currency you buy for Omega Strikers, it just transfers over to the other game if it's not used, or if you buy a skin, then you get the value of the skin in premium currency for the next game, and you still get to keep your skin in Omega Strikers. I don't know how that actually works. Are refunds available? We won't be offering refunds. Oh man, I'm glad I never spent money on this game. Holy shit, I'm glad I never spent money. However, all purchased content will remain accessible, and any money spent on Omega Strikers will be granted back to you as a premium currency in our next game. Which we still don't have any details about, which could be kind of sketchy. Could be some really weird shit you have to do for that. Will limited content be added back to the store? No, limited content like Gilded X or event-specific emotes will not be available to purchase. Will player support continue to be available? Yes, we plan to continue player support for Mega Strikers as normal. After December 2023, you might encounter longer wait times before you receive a response, but we always give you a response. So that's like the support or like help for the game if you need help with anything. Like their support team on their website or that type of thing. Kind of like a support ticket. Will any bug fixes be deployed? After the last patch in December, our policy will continue fixing any major bugs that prevent players from playing the game. Doesn't say anything about keeping the servers in top performing condition though, it just says having the servers online, so I'm sure the servers are going to get worse and worse as long as the servers are just on autopilot. That's one thing they don't say here. I'm sure they're going to get really bad, and they're already really bad. It was one thing I'm going to talk about at the end of this, kind of as like a final recap for the game. When will we hear more about the next game? Then you can keep up to the next game in their community server on Discord or on their Twitter account. So apart from that, if you guys want to check this out, this is on their website. You guys can watch this 10-minute video. It explains pretty much everything, where the game came from and how they developed the game from scratch and where it is now and their future for the game and their future stuff. You guys can check that video out. It's on their Twitter and on their Odessey website in one of their articles. I'm just going to throw I should have some gameplay in the background for you guys already. I'm just going to talk for a little while. So if you guys want to tab out, or if you're already tabbed out, then I'm going to talk for a little while. Kind of just about the game. Overall, I think this game, the main thing this game had going for it was a really unique game. I feel like they just kind of dropped the ball for Omega Strikers, though. I feel like they didn't really try. I think the only thing they really tried with was the release patch. This game on release was great. On the release, when it first dropped out of beta to official release back in April, and it was like late April of this year, it was a great game. That was probably the peak of this game was release, and I think every single patch after that, the game kind of took a dip in quality. Every single patch going forward, it felt like the patches were kind of, I wouldn't say really lazy, but they lacked a lot of stuff. The main things being, like, this is a game that you want to play with your friends. This game has no in-game text chat. This game has no in-game voice chat. That is two major things that drive a lot of players away from the game automatically. And another problem with this game is cosmetics cost way too much, which is another thing they say in this, is that they weren't making enough money from the game, which I think is really bullshit. I really do. I think that's bullshit. With how much they're charging for the skins in this game, which is like $15 for a simple skin, you cannot tell me that they are not making enough money from the game. And if that's the case, why don't they just lower the skin prices so they sell more of a quantity in skins? Thus, they're making still more money than they should be making. Or they're able to make more money that way by selling a higher quantity of skins. I don't know why they just don't lower the price. I really don't. That's another thing I wish they maybe should have did. I don't know. Overall, like, I think after the release of the game, like, that was the peak of this game on release. After that, after April, like, going into the May and June, when we had the patch after that, the game was still good. It was, but, like, I think after, like, that patch, the release patch, and then maybe one patch afterward, that's why when the game kind of started coming downhill. Every patch, there was a lot of stuff people were hoping for. Mainly me, I was hoping for, like, stuff for, like, mainly the voice chat and the in-game text chat feature. And then some reworks to, like, the matchmaking, mainly. Reworks to ranked. Ranked in this game fucking sucks. And it means nothing. Which I'll talk about a little bit more, possibly in a little bit. And then there was a few other things, too. I think it was the report options. I feel like they never reported anybody. They just didn't crack down on, like, a lot of the trolls or the throwers. And the lack of reasons to play is also another huge problem. I think one of the things they should actually did with the game, which they never did do, is try to adjust the match times, because the match times in this game are just so inconsistent. Either you're playing a match and you're in a match for like 3 minutes, or like you're staying in a match for 25-30 minutes sometimes. The match times need to be more brought into like the 5 to 8 minute range, like your typical like 3v3 game. Not for like a quick play game, for like your normal match type thing. I think that's what they should have did. Like the match times are just way too variable. Like there's either way too short or they're way too long of match times. I shouldn't have to sit in an Omega Strikers match for 25-30 minutes. Like that's the type of like time for like a Smite Conquest match and like a MOBA. And this is like a foot brawler, fast paced, like air hockey type game that is supposed to be fast paced. You're supposed to be able to play a lot of games in a short amount of time, and that's what most people are kind of wanting. They don't want to sit in a game longer than 10 minutes, and I think that's one thing they should have really changed with this game, because the games that go over longer than 10 minutes, I feel like a lot of people just get uninterested in that, or they just only have time to play one game. They'd rather play more than one match, as if singing one match for longer than 10 minutes most of the time. Another problem with the game is the Battle Pass. The Battle Pass in this game was really bad. There was nothing good in the Battle Pass, and there was no reason to really buy the Battle Pass at all. Both of the Battle Passes we actually did get up until now for the Season 1 Battle Pass was really bad. And the Season 2 was somehow even worse, with just a bunch of filler garbage. I feel like they didn't even really try with the Battle Pass. They just kind of threw it together, threw a few recolors and maybe some, like 1 or 2 skins into the Battle Pass, and that along with a bunch of other filler garbage. And they just threw it out to try to make a few bucks. That's one thing I kind of feel like they kind of did. I wish they would have maybe put some more thought process and like more effort into the Battle Pass to make it a lot better and actually worth the money they were actually charging for it. Because that's one thing that was really bad. A lot of people usually like to buy the Battle Pass, and I didn't see really that many people even that wanted to buy it with how bad it really was. Including me, I would never bought it with how bad it was. And then another major thing is too is ranked. Ranked is awful. This game has no matchmaking is another huge problem too. That kind of goes along with ranked. The matchmaking in this game sucks, and I don't even think it exists. It's just so one-sided. Half the time you get losers on your team, and half the other time you're stomping the enemy team. It's very rare to get like an actual consistent game with the matchmaker, or even people that are around your skill level, because it's just throwing everybody into random games, I think, just based off of the queue timer. And sometimes you'll be sitting in queue for like 10 plus minutes. I've had like 10, even sometimes 20-minute queue times. And the matches last maybe like 5 minutes, and the queue times are longer than half the matches last. Which is another major problem I think the game really faced. Same with ranked. Ranked didn't really mean anything. There's no reason to play ranked in this game. Like there's no incentive. They give you a gold explosion and like a title or something, I guess, I think for every season, or like both seasons so far. And that's all you have. Unless you're like a top tier, like I think the highest rank in the game, like top 500 or whatever the highest rank in the game actually is, there's just no reason to play ranked. And if the only reason you're playing ranked is just mainly to try to improve yourself, and you can't really do that, especially if you're solo queuing, unless you're playing like in a duo or a 3-stack. It's the only time you can actually do that type of stuff. Otherwise, it's just pairing you into random games, and the matchmaking is so bad to where you're just wasting your time most of the games, because you're just stuck on a team of losers, which is what I faced with a lot of the time playing ranked. And I think I'm pretty damn good at the game, and I could barely make it to gold for the game, and I struggled making it to gold. Granted, I solo queued my way, but man, did I struggle making it to gold, and I think I'm better than the majority of the players, even like in those tiers. And just mainly because of the matchmaking, I think. And there's just really no reason to play ranked. Same with like the entire game. There's just no reason to play. The main problem with Omega Strikers, which they said it themselves, is there's just lack of content and there's just no reason to play. I feel like one of the things that pretty much killed this game in less than a year, and the main thing that killed the game, was the lack of content per patch. The time between actual like content drops, because it'd be like 2 months between like an actual major patch, and between then we would pretty much get nothing apart from like little balance changes or tiny bug fixes, which is not enough. And that's kind of the main thing. What incentive is there to even log on to Omega Strikers and play a game every single day? There's just no incentive at all. There's a few like missions, like you have like daily challenges and stuff, but the rewards are fucking garbage. There's no incentive to even bother even playing, because the rewards are not worthy of your time over a lot of other games. And like, what other reason is there to play? Ranked sucks. Ranked means nothing. Quick play is just there if you want to play like a match, usually under 5 minutes. They only go maybe like the highest to 5 minutes in a quick play match. Like, what other reason is there to play? Like, I wish they would actually form the game around making actual like incentive to play. And I think that's one thing that really is a major problem that kind of killed the game. There's just no incentive to actually play more than like, I guess, 1 match a day, even if you're generous, if you want to log on to play a game. There's a lot of times where I'm like, okay, well, I don't really know what to play today. I guess I could play Omega Strikers, but then, I mean, I don't have any reason to even go on and play anyways. Okay, well, I'll go play something else. There's just no reason for me to play. Why would I go on and play when I can go play something else? Which is something I could probably see a lot of people doing as well, and kind of thinking as well, which is kind of the same thing I did, so. And they said it themselves, that was the main reason why they kind of discontinued the game, which is really unfortunate, but there's probably a few other things I'm kind of forgetting. I think the Strikers, too. The Strikers have been decent. Like, I don't really care for Gazan. I think Now was really good. Feeny was really good. I really liked Vice and Octavia. They were great. Zintaro was really cool. I didn't really care for Ramus, but I think there's going to be one more Striker left before the end of the year. But overall, the Strikers, I feel like they kind of based the patches around the Strikers way too much as well. A Striker adding up for like being the main thing of a new update is just not enough content either. And I think that's one kind of thing they kind of fell into the trap of. Something kind of Paladins does when they release a new champion. They base an entire patch for like a 3-month patch cycle off of a new champion that people are going to get bored of within a week. That's kind of what they did. And I just don't think that's the way to really throw out a major update for your game. And they found out the hard way. I don't know. I'm going to close this off by kind of just talking about like what I'm going to be doing, or like at least like the future of this on the channel. Like I said, it's going to be probably like the last Omega Strikers video I do on the channel. Overall, like I had fun with the game, but I feel like overall, like I kind of just wasted my time. Like as a content creator, being that the game has been out less than a year, I feel like, especially with how much work I put into the content for the game, I expected the game at least go longer than a year. I never expected this. I really did not. The game's going to be getting pretty much discontinued after a year. I really did not, or like less than a year actually. Especially with how much at least time I put into a lot of the content for the game. Especially when it first released, I was really pumping out the content for this game for like the first 2 months of the release of the game. Then I kind of stopped because it started getting boring. And that type of thing. I just had a bunch of other stuff I was doing, so there was just no reason to really make content for the game, and the videos weren't really doing that crazy well anyways. It's probably going to be my last Omega Strikers video. Apart from that, if you guys want to see more Omega Strikers stuff, let me know in the comments down below, and I might consider doing some more stuff if there's enough people that actually want to see it. But as of now, at least when I'm recording this, I think this will be my last Omega Strikers video, and the last Omega Strikers content I do on the channel, at least for the foreseeable future, unless they make another new game. Whatever their new game is going to be, we have no idea, but it's going to have like the same characters from Omega Strikers in the same universe. I don't know. This also really puts them into a bad spot, because the first game they made died within less than a year. So what makes people think that their next game that they make, whatever it may be, is going to be an actual game that they're going to want to put money into, buy cosmetics and that type of thing for, and actually get invested in, when their first game died within less than a year? That's another problem I'm having with them now, and that's why I may not even continue covering like Odessey Studio type games, because now they have the reputation of creating games that don't even last a year before they get killed off. I don't know. Like, who's to say their future game, like their next game is going to be another dud that'll die within less than a year after it gets released out of beta? I don't know. That's kind of another thing too. I don't want to invest myself into something again and then have the game die within like less than a year, and then I'll be back in the same situation. We'll be sitting here for like a year or two from now, and I'll be seeing the same thing. So I know that they're in a corner now. Odessey is in a corner now because now they have the reputation of creating games that last less than a year. So people are going to be really wary of supporting them going forward because they don't know if the game's going to last longer than a year, and they do not know if they should spend money on the game and actually support the game going forward with that reputation going now. So I don't know. That's why you don't give your money to stuff. That's, at least you got to be really careful on what you spend money on. I don't know. I tell people that all the time, and people just spend their money willy-nilly. At least I'm somebody that just is really careful with why I spend in game and online for like cosmetics and that type of thing. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you guys think they should have changed up until this point with the Mega Strikers? Did you guys enjoy the game? And will you guys be playing the game after or towards the end of 2023 and going into 2024 with just the servers on autopilot? Let me know in the comments down below. Apart from that, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. And those of you guys not know, if you guys are new, I do stream on Twitch. And I also stream on YouTube. I also make a bunch of other content over here if you guys might be interested in stuff like Overwatch 2 content, Apex Legends, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, a bunch of other stuff, Rocket League, a few other things. So Splatoon 3. If anything that interests you, feel free to check out some of the other stuff on the channel. Apart from that, or catch me when I'm live. Apart from that, I'm going to get out of here. Peace out, everybody. Thanks for watching.